Winterfeld. I'm the Community Education Director for the Moorhead Area Public Schools. We're delighted to be able to bring you this introduction to some of your neighbors, people who've chosen to move to the Midwest and to live in the Fargo-Moorhead area and make this place their home. They have a message for all of us that I think will be inspiring and enlightening, and I know I learned a lot just listening to them. We're grateful for the Walmart Corporation for giving us a grant to be able to do this project, and hope you enjoy learning about your neighbors.
My name is Hamida Dakane. I am from Kenya, and I've been here for the last 6 years now. I'm a student at NDSU, studying emergency management and international studies. Well, in Kenya, I lived in a small village, rural. Life was good because there was nothing else to compare with. Everybody was the same. So I had everything anybody else had. I had food, I had clothes, and that was it. Nothing else to compare because the whole community is the same. It was, the nature of the place itself is just hard. Like the environment is just dry and, you know, harsh and windy and everything, but like everybody was the same level as I said. So to me as a kid, I was like, okay, I'm fine because I have what, I didn't know anything else to compare. So yeah, that was how it was. Well, when I finished my, we call it primary education. So when I finished my grade 8, I moved to the city, Nairobi, and I did my high school 4 years. So when I was doing my high school, my last year of high school, a friend of mine told me about green card. It's a lottery visa. He said, hey, my family, my sister applied and she went to the United States. So I'm like, okay, how much does that cost? Because I thought it was money, and then it's like nothing, it's just free. So I applied to that, and then I waited for that for almost 2 years. After I finished high school, I went to university. As I was waiting, and then they called me. So I accepted because when I was in high school, I needed school fees, and then my parents couldn't afford the school fees. And then when you go to university, it's the same thing. So parents have to pay. So I'm like, okay, fine. If I get an opportunity, at least I will have a better life, and at least I will educate myself and stuff. So that's what I did. I applied, and then I was accepted after 2 years. So, and then I did all the, you know, checkups and, you know, vetting, you know, it's extremely vetting and stuff. And then I get to here to just, you know, for opportunity. Well, everything, you know, everything from criminal history, from your health, you know, everything in your life, they need to know it. So that itself, for me, it took almost 8 months process. So they will send you to do fingerprint, you know, criminal histories, and then your health, they have to find out what kind of, you know, sickness you have and stuff like that. So it's basically everything. No, I came by myself because in that visa I came with, how it works is once you're 18 and older, then you can take care of yourself. So nobody came with me. I came by myself. By the time I was getting here, I was old enough, you know. So yeah, I came by myself. Well, I didn't have a family, but I had friends. Okay. So I came to Minneapolis first. A friend of mine's family, so I stayed with them a couple months as I was waiting for my, you know, social security and stuff like that, my documents. And then after that, I was looking for school. I knew what I wanted to do directly when I came from Kenya. So, you know, Google make it easy. I just Googled around and I find out NDSU offered the major I wanted, and then I moved here knowing nobody. When I came here, I didn't know anyone. Well, I speak a few languages, not that much, 4 probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not that much. 4.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Did you learn English in school then? Was that taught in
Yes, my country is colonized by the Great Britain, so English is our first language, basically.
Okay.
So we learn English, but also, we have other languages, so it wasn't as good as it is. When I came here, I did ESL classes. They call it Intensive English Program in NDSU. I did that for a semester, plus I think 2 semesters, and yeah. That is, my English wasn't that good. Wasn't good enough for me to be a student in NDSU. Yes. Well, the journey was, I was excited, first of all, leaving behind a life that was not satisfying. And also I was scared because I was coming by myself to an environment that I don't know anything about it. The only thing I knew was just the movies I see in TV, nothing else. And yeah, it was scary. At the same time, I was excited for the new opportunity. And I was telling myself, now my life is in my hand. I don't need to wait fees from anybody. I can go to school, I can work and stuff like that. So the journey coming here, it was long, 18 hours plus flight that you don't know where you're going to, all those anxiety of like what will happen, how things will go. But, here I am. I made it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my siblings were excited, but my parents weren't. They just didn't want to let me go, with knowing nobody here. But my siblings were excited because they went to school, so they read and they hear about all this story, and knowing America being the land of the opportunity and stuff like that. They're like, oh, you're lucky, you're going to America. So. Wow, that is an interesting question, a lot. First of all, the snow. I came a good time. I came summer, and then the people, the family that invited me, they didn't tell me there's something called snow. I'm like, whoa, you guys have a nice environment. So because everywhere was green, it wasn't that hot and everything. And they're like, yeah. Then November came, here it is, the snow. And then I didn't know it was snow. I woke up and I'm like, oh, you guys, your rain is like sugar. It rains white. And then they were laughing at me. So yeah, the snow was one big thing. The other thing, school was also difficult because, where I come from, school is we just have one exam, one midterm, and that's it. Here is 24/7 exams. There's exams every other week or every week, most of the classes. And then also where I came from in classes, when the teacher is talking, students are quiet and listening, and he's the only one who talks unless he asks questions, and he's the first person to leave the class. But when I came in here, students are just on their laptops, on their phone, they're talking to each other. And then when, I didn't know, they look at the time, and then when it's about 5 minutes to their time, they pack and leave when the teacher's standing and talking. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? So it took me like long to understand that, oh, these kids are rushing for another class to catch up. So for me, I'm like, okay, I just sit there until the teacher goes, and then I go late to the other class. So it took me for almost a couple of weeks to understand that. That was one other thing here. The other big thing is where I'm from, nobody ever stopped me or asked me about, hey, why are you dressed like this, hear people ask me a lot when I came, and I was like, oh, why are people, you know, I was never used to that. People never ask me, you know, why are you dressed this? And there was no issue about, you know, religious and things. But here, people are just, hey, why do you have that rag on your head? It's not a rag, it's a headscarf. People are calling, hey, are you bald? Why do you cover your hair? So those things also was something that I'm like, what is going on? Where did I get myself into, you know?
Is it common in Kenya that most people wear the hijab or
Not really, not most of them, but some. Okay. Kenya is a Christian country, almost roughly, let's say 80%,
okay.
you know, Catholics and all the domination of Christianity. But again, you know, nobody ever asks you. People just, they don't care. Basically, that's what it is, because everybody does their own thing because people believe their own way, and it's not a topic to talk about. Nobody will choose to ask you, hey, why are you dressed like this and that and that? No. And then everybody looks like you. I mean, like, everybody's black. The whole country is black. So nobody will give you a look, or nobody will suspect you, or, you know, all this race issue, religious and gender and all these. I've never grown around with that, you know. My neighbors were Christian. I went to school with Christian kids, and everything was good, you know. Nobody picks at you and stuff like that. But here, that is one thing that I've encountered, you know. Just recently, after the election, you know, people are just throwing words at you, you know. So, and for me, I'm black, I'm a woman, I'm an immigrant, and I'm a Muslim. So all that is just lay on you, and yeah, it's been difficult to just, people don't know you, and then they just assume all these, you know, stories and create around you, and they just label you for no reason. So I've been dealing with that, which was a little hard, I think. But yeah, again, here we are. It's happening constantly every day. But I feel like for now, I just get used to it. First, when I came, it was bothering me when people just ask me questions like that. I'm like, what's wrong with these people? But now I'm like, okay, you know, it depends with the tone of the person. If the person asked, like, honestly, that they don't know, I will take my time to explain. But if people just throw that to me, I'm like, yo, go educate yourself. So kind of that. Yeah.
Does that happen around the college? Does it happen more like when you're in town, or is that?
Well, it happens almost everywhere. When you go to the grocery shops, people just throw to you. Even in the traffic light, people will just yell at you with words. And in the college, it never happened inside NDSU, but when I'm walking to my car, sometimes I hear that. People come to you and ask you, you know, clearly, hey, why do you have this in your head? And so, yeah, all that. Well, I work a lot with the community. I started a non-profit organization that I run with a couple of friends. So I just want to be a service to the community for time being. And eventually someday I want to run for an office. Yeah.
So you started the process of citizenship?
Oh yes, I did. I just applied today, actually.
Did you?
I sent the papers today.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very exciting.
That's exciting. I have exam coming.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
The exam is very, I think that what I've heard is the exam is very hard. But I suppose if you're studying for your degree, it's not any harder than that.
Well, you know, it depends again with the people. If immigrants, people, refugees who never been to a formal school are doing it, I think it's doable.
Yes.
I'm not trying to say it's not hard, but it's doable.
Mm-hmm.
And as a community activist, I helped a couple of people study for it, so I have some clue. And some of the questions are general, unless they ask specific about, you know, which war happened that year and stuff like that. Yeah, so isn't that easy, isn't that hard? It's, you know, you just need time again. And if you concentrate, I guess it will be okay.
Something to learn.
Something to learn, yep, yeah. Well, they're excited, but right now that we're having all this Muslim ban and all these things, they don't know how the law works and anything, so they have all these questions. So, but they are very excited. Yeah. No, it's not hard to practice my religious here because personally, I don't know how other people feel about it, but personally, I'm blessed that at my workplace I'm allowed to pray. In my school, I can pray in any room. In the community, we have an Islamic center. So I feel like everything's available to me, and there's no limitation to whatsoever. That I'm just a human being, no difference.
Earlier you talked about America being the land of opportunity. Do you still feel that way?
Well, I do feel that way. I strongly feel that way, not just because how people react around. I take advantage of that. I went to school. I support my family because I have a job. I can work, I support myself, I support my family, I go to school. All that is available for everyone, regardless of how people are treating people or how people are just so not aware and just mistreat others. I still believe, and I tell my friends, you know, you can be whoever you want to, as long as you put your mind into. So I believe it strongly, not just believe, but I strongly believe that it's a land of opportunity, regardless of, you know, how things are happening now.